Welcome back to the podcast. You are listening to Launch Speed. I am your host, Brendan, joined by my co-host, Zach. In today's episode, we talk to Anthony and Carly, who goes by the name of Cup from the 8th-Bit Podcasting Network. We had a lot of fun talking to him, but we mostly talked about gaming in this episode, just a fair warning. I encourage you to go check out their podcast in their YouTube channel, which is linked in the description. Thanks for listening, and enjoy.
There's multiple shapes and sizes. To decide that a real fat guy is just a bear and it's hitting an animal.
No, it's not gonna hit a bear.
Well, yeah, I know that. But it will determine the
Launch speed?
Launch speed. Launch speed.
Stop! I'm trying to think. I'm trying to put my words together. You're rushing me.
Am I helping?
No, not at all. No one else can see my hands.
Welcome to Launch Speed. Let's just move right into games then. So, what kind of games do you guys play? Do you focus mostly on single player or like multiplayer?
For me, it's mostly single player. Because I only really play multiplayer with friends because I don't like getting yelled at.
There no Overwatch for you? No public.
I mean, I have, but like only with my friends because then they'll like defend me, like
I'll let defend
like white
your
knight
honor.
him.
I'll just hang out.
Are you saying that online communities are toxic?
I know, shocker, right?
I know. I can't think. I don't think I've ever heard this before. Right?
I thought MW2 lobbies were super nice.
The best.
and,
Like 8-year-olds
like,
just screaming, cursing.
In like Halo
Dude.
lobbies and
They
stuff.
seem to
didn't
like my
bother me
mother
either.
a lot.
I can't even bash on
No.
like those 8-year-olds that were on Xbox Live because I was one of them. I used to be one of those. I used to be one of the kids on Xbox Live, but I never used a mic because I thought I was gonna get like my identity stolen. Thought they were gonna like hack me or something.
Just
Yeah,
'cause
I
the
kind of thought the
viewer
same
was.
thing. Yeah, my
I
mom
was-
was like, my parents were so like against giving away any kind of personal information. Like,
Yeah,
even like my first name. It's like no one's gonna track me by my first name or anything like that. But
yeah. Same. It's not like I have a unique name, so they're not
Yeah,
gonna
Cup.
be able to do anything. Yeah, they're gonna find me.
yeah.
So for me, I do play like the games that I would say are like my favorite have all been single player games, but the game I play most commonly, like the most, is a multiplayer game.
What game's that? Are you
League.
ashamed of this?
Yeah,
Oh,
League.
yeah, you should be.
Yeah,
ashamed.
see now you understand.
I mean, most people, I think, at one point or another played League, whether they liked it or not.
That's
You
the
know,
first thing I
rite of
do when I go
passage.
into League games sometimes is I just mute everyone.
Yeah.
use
Not if she types
pings.
any flickers.
League's like the worst because, well, unless they added, did they add voice chat in recently?
Okay, so I remember when they first announced it and everyone was like, this is a horrible idea, but then some people were saying, oh, it'll decrease the toxicity
Yeah, no.
because, like, I don't know if I should say his name, not for, like, security reasons, but because, like, I don't know if you guys know him, but, like, Derek, he said that it would decrease the toxicity because if there was a voice chat, people would stop talking shit because they would have to, like, actually, use the
Totally.
voice
He
chat or
never
something.
played MW2.
And then they did implement it, but they didn't implement it in the way we thought. So you have to be in a party with that person before you join the game in order to be in a voice chat with them.
Okay, so yeah, it is
Yeah.
kind of pointless. I mean, I
Yeah.
kind of agree with him that when people aren't just hiding behind their keyboard, they're less
Yeah.
likely to rage. And I mean, you even see it in Overwatch. People will like be all nice and friendly in voice chat,
Mhm.
and then they'll just start typing
Yeah.
rude things.
Yeah, and then they'll like unmute their mic and be like, "McCree is low," and he'll go back and chat like, "Fuck you, man." He starts spamming, "I need a healer," but outwards he's like, "How's your day going?"
Yeah, it's just kind of that kind of like hypocrisy and toxicity. I mean,
Yeah, it's rough.
I feel like as I get older, I have less time to sink into single player games, and like especially the ones that feel kind of grindy. Like I played the shit out of Skyrim, right?
Mhm.
I
Oh,
played
hell
it
yeah,
so
dude.
many hours of that. Yeah, and it was so fun. But looking back on it, it was just like making 1,000 iron daggers to get my smithing up to a level that I could like
to
make
make
an actual
everything
weapon.
cool.
You know, you know what I would do? I would, right at the beginning of the game, you know how there's like that bear and it's sleeping and you could fight it or you could just sneak past it, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember, but let's just pretend
well,
like I do.
It's literally at like the beginning of the game, so like there's no leveling, you don't have any experience. What I would do is I would put like a shoe or something on my controller so that I'm barely walking forward, and then I would walk my character. I would be in the room with the bear and then I'd walk it into the wall because it would still increase my sneak. So I would just leave it and then I'd go do something else and then I'd come back when I'm like level 30 and then I would just start off from the beginning with level 30.
Like a modern day RuneScape macro.
That was my RuneScape. Skyrim was my RuneScape.
Did you do this on console?
I was on Xbox.
Okay, I was like, if you're on PC, you could just cheat and get to level 30 immediately.
That was like the first thing I did when I got a PC. I just cheated in every game I owned.
Oh, man.
It's something that I used to do. I just feel like it takes the fun out of it, though.
Yeah,
I mean, to an extent.
Definitely
Yeah.
like the first time through a game.
What's
Right.
that? I can't remember the name of it right now, but what's that one game where it's basically there's like one murderer and then like, you know, like fucking ton of other games. There's one murderer, which is one player, and then there's like 4 other players, and you could get like stuck on hooks and stuff, and then you have to
Dead
like
by
get
Daylight.
out. Yeah, Dead by
Communist
Daylight.
Russia?
People would just
Stalin
put
the game.
macros when it's like spam F whenever you get put on the hook. Like people would just put macros of them spamming F onto the like their mouse or something, and then they would just
Oh.
immediately get off.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah. I guess I could probably do that with my keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems
I
like cheating.
It is, but
Yeah.
some people.
There was an issue like that in Destiny 2 with Titans as well, where you could like
Well,
use a macro to do some crazy mobility stuff on a Titan, and they had to take out the ability to do that with different macros.
they
Well,
took it
Destiny
all
I thought
away.
was interesting because it was like Destiny 2 was like a huge launch on console, and then they didn't release it on PC for like
Forever.
months. Yeah, because they wanted to avoid pirating and cheating,
I know.
and I guess, they still had issues.
I remember before
Shocker.
Destiny was released, I was talking to a GameStop employee about it because they were trying to like sell it to
That's
me, and
always
the
a
way
fun
they
time.
described it, I've never played Destiny, but the way they described it was, if Halo 4 and Call of Duty had a kid, that's Destiny.
Wow.
But that kid,
Liar.
Yeah, I was
kid
like-
never made it out of the womb. Then yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
I
That was
freaking-
dark.
If Halo had
trash.
a miscarriage, I guess, but
It's a
Oh, that's
terrible
dark.
game. I bought it because everyone was like, "Oh, it's a multiplayer Halo platform, super
No,
good."
no. You didn't buy it. People bought it for you.
You guys bought it for me because I refused to buy it because I didn't want it at first. Because
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be bad, and I was right.
Well, I mean, it was kind of fun though, like figuring out, like doing the raid for the first time. Like that was kind of
I already
satisfying.
talked about this. Doing the raid was pointless because we never figured it out for ourselves. We always watched a YouTube video and then played it that way, and that wasn't fun.
I have no
Fair
defense.
enough. Fair enough.
how could you defend that game, honestly? Everyone, I feel like
It's
that's
hard to.
probably the most like agreed game to hate on. I haven't met one person that like truly loves that game with the bottom
It's
of their
funny
heart.
because like in our group, ironically enough, speaking of Derek, I actually bought him Destiny because me, this other guy in our podcast, Mosgrow, and then we're playing, and we wanted him to join us. And he's like, I'm not going to spend money in that game. I'm not going to. I might like it, but I want to spend money on it. So we got it for him, and then we
Oh my
played it for
God.
like 2 months, pretty hardcore, and then we just stopped. We haven't been back.
Yep.
Did he like get the achievements, or was he just like, I'm done with this?
It was just
Mulder?
kind of like we just hit a point where we were just enjoying PvP more than anything else because everything else was either boring or too grindy for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, oh yay, I got a different colored hand cannon.
Woo! I got the Rat King, yay!
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much the reason that our group stopped playing Destiny, and it's shameful. It's because Fortnite came out.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah.
Who plays Fortnite anymore? That
I
game-
remember when
absolute
Fortnite
garbage.
first came out, my friends kept trying to get me to play because it wasn't like a meme yet, right? It was just
Uh-huh.
a game that came out. My friends kept trying to get me to play it, and they kept describing it as like new TF2. But I didn't like original TF2, so I didn't want to play it at all. And I'm truly glad for that decision.
I
I
tried to understand what everybody liked about it, so I forced myself to play it because I was like, there's got to be something here that maybe it's my skill, or there's got to be something that makes everybody love it so much. There's got to be a reason I don't like it. So I kept playing, and then eventually nothing happened, and I was like, yeah, this sucks.
Suddenly, nothing happened.
I mean, after like a week, I'm just like, nothing's changed. I still am not having any fun. I may as well just go do something else.
How even is the Fortnite community? Because, like, I've seen people, like, defend Fortnite with their lives, and I've seen people, like, get super angry over it. But other than, like, people just defending the game, I see, like, no community interaction about Fortnite. Like, I'm sure
they're
there's
all
forums,
middle
but-
schoolers.
Yeah,
And Zach.
they're not allowed yet. They're not allowed
Middle
to have any
schoolers,
accounts.
I
so-
put some serious time into Fortnite.
Oh my!
I
Do
still
you have like
play
a number? Do you have like a number of hours you've played?
number
Oh,
of
you
hours,
don't want to be
no.
depressed.
But I have played over 5,000 matches, and they're about 20 minutes on average. So there's your number.
Why do you hate yourself? Jesus Christ!
That's a good
Wow.
question.
This is about to turn into an intervention, huh? That's the whole
I mean,
reason
I
you
think-
brought us on.
Yeah. I think the thing about Fortnite is that it's just gambling, right? Because it's a battle royale game. Your chances of winning are pretty low. It's between 1 in 25 to 1
Well,
in
that's
100.
also why people like it, because it's so satisfying when you do get in like the higher
Exactly.
numbers.
And that's exactly like playing like blackjack or playing the slot machine. Except for those have real world repercussions, and the only real world repercussion, Fortnite, is
Being
wasting your
single
life.
forever. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that too.
At least you gain or you lose something when you gamble. You only lose when you play Fortnite.
That's true.
What? Oh
You-
God, I'm just
You
getting.
get first place.
shots
You might
fired.
have won. If you get like first place in a game,
Yikes.
like okay, you got first. Like you win the battle, but you lose the war. That's how Fortnite is.
I'm glad you guys agree. Now, yeah, I really like this 3-on-1 dynamic we got going on here.
Oh, the amount of times that we've bashed on Fortnite and their stuff, I've lost count.
Great.
Whenever Anthony gets like upset about a game, it's the best. And I brought this up in the last like recording I did, but I'm gonna bring it up again because it cracks me the hell up. But there's this one game that had like a 1 in 25 chance of a glitch or something, and it straight sets Anthony off. The
There
video
was this
about
game when I was a kid.
it.
So I was in high school. I had no money, and 360 games were super like dirt cheap, right? So I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I'll go to GameStop with this extra $5. I'll get an RPG and I'll have a good weekend. I'll get some pizza. It'll be a good time. And I got 2 Worlds 2, which even without this glitch, it's pretty shit. But I had a glitch that I couldn't progress in the game because this character had a glitch that would just make her get stuck. She just couldn't speak. She just fucking lost her brain all of a sudden, and she would go instead of progressing you in the story. So I was like, oh well, okay, maybe it's my game. So I reinstalled it, didn't work. Tried a different profile, it didn't work. Fixed my hard drive, it didn't work. So I just never played it. And then when I got like a little bit not older, but as time progressed, one day I was like, I wonder what was wrong. And I looked it up. The developers fucking knew. They're like, oh, it's super rare. It shouldn't be a problem for anybody.
Oh my god.
Wow.
The funniest thing about that story to me is that's if like the US was like,
Assholes.
I mean, a good 70% of us are in like middle class. I pulled that number like out of nowhere.
It's
That's
totally
not like a
accurate.
real number, but like
right there.
that would
Sounds
be
legit.
like that would be like if they were like, you know what, 80% of the country is like white, so we're just gonna ignore all the minorities because it's a small number anyways, right? It's rare.
It's less than half. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking assholes.
I liked how you're like the way you measured it was you were like in the recording you were like, I could have gotten a fucking pizza, and you described this pizza with like such intensity because I could tell you were going to, but you chose that game over this stupid
Because-
fucking food
Okay,
item.
so where I lived in Florida, in Cocoa, Florida.
Ouch.
Yeah. Oh, I know. My life
Tough
already
life.
fucking sucked. I lived in Cocoa, Florida. I don't need my games to suck too. So lived like maybe not even half a mile from a GameStop, and in the shopping center, right next to the GameStop, was a Little Caesars. And I was in high school, so Little Caesars was, the bomb.
The bomb. Yeah.
See? So I'm going to GameStop, and I'm like, all right, I won't be able to get a pizza until like Sunday after I get paid, because I delivered pizzas. And I was like, so maybe I can just, get a game, and then, I have some snacks at the house, and then Sunday I'll get a pizza probably when I'm finishing up the game. It'll be a good weekend. So I just ignored this pizza that I was like wet dreaming about all day at school.
Oh my god.
Went to GameStop with fucking Captain Neckbeard number 74. And he screws me out of a game. He's like, oh, this game is so good. Just trust me. But it wasn't.
At least you're not still holding on to this. At least you've gotten over.
Yeah, at least it's over. At least you're
Yeah.
further in
If I
your
ever
life.
worked in a GameStop, I would take all the copies of Two Worlds 2 if they still had any, and I would just hide them. I'd never let a single person buy it.
Wow, dude, make a fort. You can make a fort in like a back room and just live there, and they wouldn't
For
even
kick
know.
ass.
Just like the rest of the GameStop.
They wouldn't
employees.
know because
I
no one would
know.
ask where that game is because no one's gonna buy it. So
I've
even know
never
second
heard of
Someone
it
comes in
at
to
all.
punch him. It's so bad.
I had to go read about it.
It's so bad.
It's got a 7 out of 10 on Metacritic, so let's.
Well,
I think
Metacritic
you're
can eat
lying.
it.
well, it was on like what year was this? This was like 360 era,
Yeah,
right?
it was on
Like,
Xbox 360.
so
It
like
was-
let's be honest,
old.
any game that was like not a big title game like Call of Duty or Battlefront on the 360, was it really a good game? Like I remember playing Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man game, I don't even remember which one, on that fucking console, and I thought it was so good. I was like, oh my god, this is peak humanity, like this is where technology was supposed to go. And I look back and it's like if I played tic-tac-toe with like computer chips. That's what it looks like.
One of the only other games I remember playing on 360 was my brother went to either GameStop or like Best Buy or something. I think it was a place where you could rent the game, and he got this Avatar: The Last Airbender game where
Oh,
you can
no.
press X for 5 minutes and get 1,000 gamer score. And so we did that, and like that's all I remember.
Oh my god.
Achievements are all that matters in games anyway. Yeah, if you don't have a gigantic E-dong, what's it matter? You know?
Exactly.
Speaking of, what do you guys think? Have you guys heard of the PlayStation 5? Have you guys seen about that? Read about
I've seen
it?
a little bit about it. I don't. So, do you guys have Xboxes or PlayStations or just PC Master Race all the way?
Sometimes I play on PlayStation, but it's mainly PC for me.
Like the PlayStation or like a PS4?
PS4. I used to have a
PlayStation 1.
I used to have a PS2. And I used to, oh man, playing on the PS2 was probably like my, like back, if I could think about like what the gaming experience is supposed to be, you know, like nostalgia, that's it. The PS2 basically was it for me. Like that was,
Yeah, see, for me, it's the Xbox 360.
Yeah,
I didn't play all that. I didn't play on the 360 nearly as much as I played on the PS2.
So, like, growing up, me and my friends and all of their friends and all of their friends pretty much all had Xboxes. So, none of us, like, ever had PlayStations.
Right.
Which is, I don't know, neither here nor there.
It was
Well,
the same
wait.
for me, but I grew up in the Minecraft generation, so they didn't
Ew.
have any games except for
Alright, can you just
Minecraft.
server mute her
Oh.
if she's gonna talk about Minecraft?
I'm not gonna
I
talk about
support it.
Minecraft. I hate
I'm
that game.
kidding.
But I'll
From-
give you some credit on the PS2 being nostalgic and like the best gaming experience.
Yeah.
Because I had my first gaming console was PlayStation, and I remember putting
Yeah.
a blanket over the TV and over me, so if my parents came in, it'd be dark in the room.
They wouldn't notice that there's a blanket in the middle of the floor.
A glowing blanket.
I was 10 years old. I wasn't that bright. Give me a break. I'm not
They're
that
like,
bright.
oh, the Grudge is
No,
just possessing
not
our
like-
son. We're fine.
So the only time I ever played single player games was on PlayStation. Outside of that, I've really not touched any single player games.
Oh, really? Single player games
Huh.
are like, they're probably my favorite because rather than
Yeah, same.
focusing on like gameplay, which obviously is important, like interaction with like other people, like working on fucking routing and all that, it's like focusing on the story and it's
Mhm.
focusing on like just enjoying the game, so there's more attention to detail on things. Like
Yes. So like my first console was the original Xbox, like the big black heavy ass box.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I must have spent at least 100 hours on KOTOR 1. Not because it was that long of a game, just because I was younger and it was one of those things where I could spend endless time on it because I was a kid and it didn't matter to me. Like
I definitely did the same thing.
yeah, like I could just walk around Korriban with the rest of the Sith, and even though now looking back they didn't really do anything to me, it was like, yeah, I'm just spending my day in the Sith Academy, no big deal.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jade
Did you
Empire.
ever play Kinect games? Like Just
I tried
Dance?
once.
That was my That was my
Ugh.
favorite game to play with my friends, and honestly, it still is one of my favorite games to play with my friends because it's so bad. Like, you can't be good at Just Dance, you know? You're always bad.
Exactly.
That's the best. That's the best part.
I think I've only played Just Dance once, and there's a reason behind that.
Because it's Just Dance.
It's Just
the
Dance,
moves.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love playing crisscross applesauce for an hour.
DDR is pretty good though.
Did you guys ever go to like actual
Ooh, yes, it
arcades?
is.
I was gonna talk about DDR. Do you guys ever actually like?
Oh, yeah.
go to arcades?
Yeah, actually, in middle school there was an arcade-ish thing not too far from us, and yeah, I went there, played DDR, got my ass
I went
kicked.
to one constantly when I was like younger.
Yeah, there was
Um,
one for me too.
But then once I hit like 13 for me, so not that long ago, they just kind of disappeared. They just I have no idea where they went.
Brendan, what arcade are you asking about or talking about?
Hyperspace in Hollywood. You remember those commercials for it?
Oh, geez, God, that's holy
Jeez,
crap!
God, I heard
That's so
pain.
so long ago.
Yeah, I know.
Really digging into the
Mm.
memories for this one, huh?
Yeah,
Did you guys ever play on the 2DS?
Not me.
No, I
Sorry.
never had a handheld gaming console until I bought one for my
Dude.
wife like last year.
I still
Wild.
have all of mine. I think I had I have a Game Boy somewhere, like the red one, and I thought I
had
was
a
so
red
cool.
one too.
Yeah, I thought I was so cool. I'd like bring that to school, and I didn't bring it to play with other kids. I brought it just to show other kids that I have one and they don't. That's the only reason I brought it, just to flex. Literally, I was so
Wow.
excited.
I
Wow.
feel like she lost a lot of lunch money in school.
They broke her cup.
I was okay. So they're not gone. I have
You better
two
tell us how much of
older
a nerd you were.
siblings.
Oh, yeah, I got picked on so much. Let me tell you.
I had two older siblings, so I was like well known at my school, but my sister was like literally a bully, so she was fucking feared, so no one fucked with me, even though they should have. I was the absolute worst. I was obnoxious as a kid. I would have bullied me. I would
Did you
bully me.
Did you run to the lunchroom? Did you just full on arms behind you, just sprint head down?
My sister used
The
to literally
Naruto
do
one.
hits on people. Like people would pay her to beat people up. Like that's what she did. So
Is your sister like Asian Ronda Rousey?
she does look Asian. So imagine just being in like on the playground or something, and this fucking Asian girl in a Catholic uniform comes up pounding her fist.
It turns into a scene from The Grudge.
I would be terrified. Anyways, consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PS5. There's
Back to that, like 20 minutes ago.
there's a bunch of controversy around that because there was an article 2 days ago, if I'm correct, posted that was like, oh, the new PS5 is going to use the AMD Ryzen. And then there was an article posted like 11 hours ago that was like, absolutely not. Because there was a whole paragraph or like a quote from someone that talked
Mhm.
about, it talked about like the pricing, and it talked about like retailing and all that. And it talked about like the specs of the computer. And someone like actually worked with the numbers, and it was like completely off. So everyone's confused whether it's going to actually be in there or not.
Because they released something saying it was going to be like 8K and all that kind of crap. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't PlayStation release that themselves?
And I think they said it's going to have ray tracing in a console.
Which is crazy and pointless.
It's right here. It says it came from Wired UK. It says
Mm.
Wired UK has run a piece with multiple puzzling statements in it. To quote,
Oh, so maybe they
Um,
quoted PlayStation, and that's why people were saying the PlayStation confirmed it.
Yeah, I just sent it
maybe?
in general if you guys want to read it. But yeah, someone like pulled up this right here. This article says, to quote it, literally everything in this paragraph is somewhere between confused and wrong. No disrespect to Wired intended. It's a good publication. Everyone makes mistakes, but this just isn't true. It's odd to refer to CPUs as supporting ray tracing or being 8K compatible, but you could read both statements as a vague reference to computational capability. And then it just has this whole chart on like pricing
It's
and a
too
lot.
bad they're not going to E3 because I'm really curious of what it's going to be like.
Yeah, I wonder what they would do if they went to E3 because you would expect something. You would expect them to be at E3 if they're releasing a new console for a big name like that. So I wonder why they're not going. I'm wondering what
Probably
their
'cause they
reason.
don't have much. I mean, they don't really have.
They're probably like they're gonna call us out. They're gonna know.
They blew their load last year.
I feel like a lot of people are backing out at E3, not really showing off as much.
I feel like
Yeah, it does
it's
seem
a
like
lot
that.
with those like those big gaming name conventions like TwitchCon. They had to get like lesser known names than they usually would because so many of like the big names just dropped out or like didn't
Microsoft
go.
says they're going to go hard now, though. I'm
Oh,
Phil
wow.
Spencer was saying something like, because they are going, they're going to have even more to show. They're going to have exclusives, first party stuff. He was really tooting his own horn.
Oh man. So they're just kind of like waiting until they have a bunch of stuff and then they're just gonna throw it out at once.
It's just not going to be the same E3 without the PlayStation and Xbox console.
I
Or
wonder what
conference,
is
excuse
gonna
me.
be at E3 because like those are
Well,
kind of
there's
the
still not Obsidian, excuse me. There's still Bethesda. There's still
CD
still Square
Projekt
Enix.
Red. Woo!
Yeah. At least we get to
Cyberpunk
see
2077 is going to be there.
Cyberpunk's
Skate
the
2.
savior of gaming at this moment.
Yeah.
Did you see that there was something a couple days ago that somebody from CD Projekt Red said that the game is completely different from what they showed off in gameplay?
Oh no.
Really?
Yeah,
No
they
way.
said the game's not in a bad way. He just said like that since they've shown that they've expanded on so much and made it even different and even better. I didn't. I should have saved this quote because I just saw it on Twitter, kind of just like it was like shit time.
I could try
scrolling.
finding it.
And yeah, he said something like it was completely different from the gameplay reveal. We've expanded so much; it's gotten so much better. Blah 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 blah. But a lot of company phrasing, But
Yeah.
what else are you guys excited for E3?
I don't even know what else is going to be there. I mean, Halo Infinite, probably.
Yeah, probably.
The new season of Fortnite? I don't know.
I love how it's in season like 85 and it's only been out for 2 years.
Imagine how much Fortnite is gonna be at E3 just as filler. When they're like, well, we have nothing else, so
We're just gonna
might
have
as well just throw
streamers
it.
play Fortnite for everyone.
Oh my, it's gonna. I hope
It's
they
a
have.
press conference of just Ninja playing Fortnite for like an hour.
Yeah, because everyone wants to watch that. Yeah.
I have a
Apparently,
big
someone
vibe
does.
something's gonna happen.
Apparently, someone. Who is this someone?
One of the kids that sits in his chat and spams his pon emote.
Yeah, last year the gimmick was like everyone's releasing like a battle royale variant of their game type.
Yeah,
I wonder what it's going to be this year. It can't be any worse than that.
I feel like the gimmick recently has kind of been publishers trying to like
Regain relevancy.
not even relevancy. I see a lot of developers and publishers trying to contact the old guard of gaming with like
The old guard.
I mean seriously like
Trying to get the High Council.
like how Star Wars Fallen Jedi or Fallen Order is getting promoted from EA. Like it's all single player, no microtransactions, no multiplayer. Halo Infinite, they're like absolutely no battle royale. Like they're trying to.
Do you think they're trying to like bring back the old gaming experience? Because like if you
not
talk
the
to
old
anyone that
experience, the old
plays,
money.
yeah, if you talk to anyone that plays or has played video games when they were like younger, they're all like, "Oh yeah, when I was younger, I was way more excited about this," and they have like all these good memories.
Mm-hmm.
They like trying to bring that back because with like all these advancements, they're basically honestly, if they want to do something, they can. Like, they'll find a way. They'll start working on it. Like,
I mean,
VR,
plus
VR would have been insane. Like,
nostalgia is always in, you
Yeah.
can always cash on nostalgia. So
Yeah. Like, 10 years ago, if we knew VR was a thing, we would be fucking freaking the hell out. We would be...
yeah, VR came out at a
Actually-
bad time.
Do you remember? Do you remember those? I think it's called like Beachhead 3000 games or something that were at arcades, and you like put this little helmet on you, and you were
Oh, yeah.
on the beach at D-Day, I think, which is really like anti-American now that I think about it.
Yeah, you get to be one of the first ones dead on the boat. Have fun.
Oh my-
Yeah, but that was like the first like VR-ish experience I ever had, and that was super cool. But it didn't take off because there just wasn't a lot of games, and the systems were so expensive.
And there wasn't a lot of quality. Even the games
Yeah.
that there were none that were like, you have to get it for this,
Right. Well, nothing like Halo, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, because you have to have a VR capable PC, which let's just say it's like $1,200, and then you need, let's just say, the Vive, because that's, in my opinion, the best of the VR sets, and that was another $800. So you're looking at $2,000, and like most people just can't afford $2,000 out of their back pocket,
Yeah.
or at least don't want to.
I feel like the only game people really like get VR for is like VR chat. Like, I don't see people play or use VR headsets like the Vive or the Oculus, other than like,
I mean, there is a few true, not true people, but people who really do want that true VR experience. Like somebody in our group, Ryan, just got a Vive like a couple days ago.
yeah.
He's been like living in VR this week. He got super hot. I think next he said he was gonna get a Beat Saber, and he's gonna look at like Skyrim VR and Fallout
Beat Saber,
VR. and-
yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Beat Saber stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too lately.
Fantastic Contraption is pretty fun. But really what I think would have actually driven people to buy like the HTC Vive is Steam, or Valve rather, had this demo, the lab, that came with, or it was just in Steam and you could play it, and it was like a couple different mini games. If Valve had actually committed and made an entire game for the first time in like 10 years, besides that
I was gonna
card
say
game.
Valve would just make
Half-Life 2, guys.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that would have driven people to buy it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
could agree
Valve
with
is a
that.
big enough name that if they did anything, I feel like it would be a big enough motivator for people too.
Except for their
Yeah.
stupid card game, which is totally failing.
They have
I
a
know.
card game.
They
Yeah,
tried to.
Artifact.
I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's like Hearthstone, but Valve.
Oh, I've never been a fan of card games. That takes too much brain power for what little brain power I already have.
It's true. I
Okay.
can't confirm
Gwent
it.
is a great card. Anyone play
Gwent
it?
is a really fucking good
Gwent
game.
is good, but it's not as good in the standalone game as it is in The Witcher 3 for some reason.
I have heard that.
I feel like that's just because in The Witcher 3, number one, you're playing against computers, but number two, you're putting off your grindy side quest. So it's like escaping your chores to like play
Yeah, I
video
can see
games
that.
in a video game.
What would be like the VR? What would be the VR experience? You know, like what? You know how like there are games that are made for specific consoles. Like the Persona series it's basically made for PlayStation. It is made for PlayStation. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. It's made for PlayStation. What would be like the game that's made for VR other than like lights, like Rhythm Saber and things
I
like
think
that?
they would need to be super high quality of like either driving, shooting, or an RPG. It's basically
Would it
just
be-
one of the three.
Yeah, I
Personally.
was
Would it
gonna
be
say
possible to
driving.
create like a?
Yeah.
Not driving because the steering wheel, and there's already setups that are relatively really well set up for driving, and
But it'd still be better in
you
VR.
have to have a huge
And that's the problem.
apparatus
Yeah, because you
to
still need
simulate driving.
the
Yeah, I agree.
keyboard and the controller are like terrible inputs for a driving game. So you
Yeah.
need that steering wheel, you
I
need
can
the pedals.
100% agree with you on that.
I would say an RPG would be the move.
But Skyrim's in VR.
What's the quality? We're talking about high quality RPG. Like they spent 5 years.
Skyrim's high quality.
And is it? Is it
I
though?
mean, yeah, I mean,
Skyrim.
kind of, sort
it's
of.
getting dated, but mods still save it. So I guess if you
I
could
still see videos on it like all the time.
I feel like it's high quality for the bad reasons, you know, like climbing mountains with horses and just clipping through barrels in the ground.
That and you can mod it, which adds a lot of lifetime onto the game.
And modding's finally starting to get, easy enough for brain dead people like me.
There's crazy hours of gameplay. A lot of time and effort did go into Skyrim. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but that one guy who read every piece of literature in Skyrim, like
I saw that.
I that's insane to me because there's a lot. Like, if I was making Skyrim, I would have just copy and pasted a bunch of stuff and been like, no one cares, no one's
gonna
does
read the
nothing.
No, there's
no one's gonna
every time
read.
you open a book, it's like a legitimate, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 page
it's like
story.
there's
It's crazy. It's crazy.
stories with like 5 volumes. That's insane to me.
Some of them
would-
like give you quests. I got to the point where I just wouldn't even pick them up. I was like, I hate this. This is just such a waste of time.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like grinding though. Like to get the final achievement with Sekiro, again, Derek had to just grind, and that sounds horrible to me. I hate grinding so much. It's just so tedious.
That's kind of what I think of a lot of single player games nowadays, is that in order to say, we have X number of hours of content, which is usually up around 60 or 80 hours of content, they just add in those pointless escort missions, the pointless like eavesdropping missions. And I mean, I'd say Assassin's Creed is probably the worst for that. But it's like seeping into like all kinds of different games, and it's just so irritating.
Oh, did you ever play that, or did you ever finish? There was a quest. It was either Assassin's Creed. Honestly, it was Revelations, Brotherhood, or 2, and I honestly can't remember which one it was. You had to collect feathers to get this certain cape that was, I think it was your family's crest or something like that.
Oh, I remember. It was just a wild
every
goose
feather
chase.
in the game, and it was literally just mind-numbingly chasing feathers around the map
The
for
only
hours.
Assassin's Creed one, I did that exact challenge, but that was in Assassin's Creed 3 with the Indian. You had to go branch to branch and collect feathers. I did that challenge. I did all of that. I was that grindy guy.
I feel like grinding is like it's a key experience, for video games. Like it's something whether you want to or not, you're going to experience it. Like you can't avoid it. It's going to happen. But I feel like in the games that are like single player games, they need to either be like really story driven and not have many options for grinding, or they need to like have a lot of things you can do like as an alternative to just grinding enemies, like
it's
Yakuza.
turning into a cop out.
Yeah. It's just filler. It really is. It's just like filler chapters and books. That's basically all the grinding is for games to increase.
What would you say
playtime.
is like an example of like something that they could do instead of the story? Like what was the other side of that?
Oh, the example I gave was like Yakuza 0. Like there's a bunch of stuff instead of just going and like fighting a bunch of people. Even though it is like there are like side quests and stuff, but you can honestly just go fuck around. It's so open world. You can go fucking race car driving.
She goes, you can go fucking.
You can go like race car driving and like fighting these 10-year-olds. You can go fucking fishing. I think you could catch like some crazy shit. I don't want to say it because it's a big spoiler. Kinda.
Well, now
I don't think anyone is gonna play Yakuza. Never even heard of it.
Wow, it's one of my favorite games, Yakuza 0. It's so good. And then there's also
finally
like
got to get you back.
I love that game. It's so good. And then it's not just one character either. Like that's another thing they could do. They could give you the option to switch between characters. Like there's a couple horror games where it's like you could play as different people, and that just helps it from becoming repetitive and kind of expecting what's going to happen.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, like, why would I want to play anybody but Master Chief?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Like, are you sure you don't want to play as Spartan 724?
You mean the guy that dies? I'm okay.
Yeah. Are you sure we got a pink grunt? You want to play Katana with less clothes? Here you go.
I remember the Red versus Blue era. The Red versus Blue era really made Halo blow up, of course.
Well, Red versus Blue is still going.
Yeah,
but when it was like when it started, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like season 2, 3.
Yeah, I used to watch that as it came out.
Yeah.
on like the Mondays or whatever. I would get home from school and watch Red versus Blue.
You ever make any Halo videos yourself?
I
Like,
did not.
Me and my friends made one of those classic, embarrassing old kid Halo videos where we did voices. I remember I was the commander and someone who was training. So
I
one
know
voice
exactly
was like,
what you're talking about.
one voice
My
I was
God.
like, yes, sir, whatever you say. And the other voice, I had some weird, like, wannabe military voice, but I was like 8, mind you. So I had a super high pitched voice. So I was like, listen, everybody, we're going to get in line and we're going to go get those damn Covenant.
Can I have the link, please?
Yeah, I want to see
I
this.
wish
I
could
have to
find
see
that.
this.
Oh man, I gotta find that.
I have to
sometime.
see a cinematic masterpiece such as this.
Is this on YouTube?
Hopefully,
I certainly
I
hope
haven't
so.
looked it up in
Hopefully.
years. I'm gonna try to find that. If I ever find that, you'll be the first ones I give it to.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, dude.
Excellent.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys if you were fans of Red versus Blue, but clearly yes.
Yeah.
It's like that's I don't know. I feel like everybody has that one show that they're just willing to rewatch. And now that Red versus Blue is on Netflix, that's my show. That's like the only show that I've actually really ever truly enjoyed rewatching. You know, all 13 or 15 hours of it.
100%. I agree with that. And I'm someone who I hate replaying and rewatching, you know?
Oh, same.
Because I know what's going to happen. You know, the point of like playing and watching is you're like, what's going to happen next? But if you replay a game, you're like, well, I have to do this. And like the point of games is like figuring out what to do. Like, what are you going to do? Like challenging yourself in a way. And then you already know what to do. So it's like, there's not really a lot of replay value to me, to any game. But Red vs. Blue is definitely one of those things that I could just sit down and rewatch as if I'm watching it for the first time.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those things that I feel like every time you watch it, you pick up on something new. Like,
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm so impressed the way they strung together that ridiculous storyline to be semi-comprehensible.
I know, it's crazy.
Man, especially looking at like production value now compared to like the first
When
episodes.
it first came out, yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. Even the mics.
Oh my god, like just Rooster Teeth right now, they're
Yeah.
doing like 800 shows and like they've got like hundreds of people working there. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
It really is.
Don't they
It's
have
very
like multiple locations too?
Yeah, I think they have-
Well, they have the one in Austin, and then I think they own Funhouse in LA.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Sugar Pine 7's in LA too.
Okay, yeah. Did you know that Rooster Teeth was, I don't know the proper word here, English for cockbite?
Oh my god.
Yeah, right?
Holy
There's something new every day.
hell.
Oh, I'm so happy I learned that one.
It's ridiculous.
I can leave this podcast knowing I learned the most important thing I could have.
Oh
The
yeah.
more you know.
So
This is
if
an
we could just-
educational.
this is very educational. If we could just go back to bashing on Fortnite and by association Epic. Did you see the shade that Tim Sweeney's Epic has been throwing at Steam recently?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
So Epic, for background, Epic's been like buying all these exclusives, and Tim Sweeney, the CEO, I think, of Epic, the other day, he tweeted and was like, if Valve agrees to an 88% profit share and with no strings attached, we will stop doing these sleazy things. I was like, wow, you're just really calling them out there.
Hey, the ball's in their court.
It is.
Home
Yeah.
turf.
Yeah, I talked about this myself recently, and my view of it is like the unpopular opinion, and it's kind of, I get it because I do get it because I hate having a million launchers too. But how can you look at it and be like, yeah, Steam doesn't deserve this? I mean, Steam has had like a monopoly for so long. They had to,
Yeah.
this is the only
There were
thing that's
even
ever
memes
going to happen.
about
It's going to make
Steam
them
just-
catch up.
There's no true competition to Steam other than
Until
like
now,
Steam
yeah.
itself.
Yeah, but like the thing that bothers me is it'd be one thing if the Epic Store actually had any or even some of the features that the Steam Store has, but they're it's really just bare bones. It's really just a launcher. Like they don't even have cloud saves.
Oh yeah, it's in a horrible state. They weren't ready to do this yet.
Right, yeah, like you said, they should have built up the launcher in the store first and then gone out and been really aggressive. But
I think if they had done it like that, like how you suggested, I think everybody would have followed them.
right, and it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But like, if I want to play Borderlands between my two computers, number one, I have to buy it on the Epic Store, and then I can't like have cloud saves.
Yeah.
It's just such a pain.
They only added a search bar like a couple weeks ago.
Ouch.
Yeah, which is ridiculous because their whole thing is like making it more convenient for people to access and play games, and then they throw all these things out, and you're like, okay,
No, it's just making it more convenient for people who already play Fortnite.
yeah.
Basically, yeah. Because they have the money to just throw at stuff now.
So now they're just putting more games in front of the faces of middle schoolers with access to their parents' credit cards.
I know.
And Zach.
And me, who still has access to his parents' credit cards.
Nice. Keep that.
Plan on it. I don't make enough money for this stuff.
I feel that.
Speaking of being a moron, do you guys, when you guys play PC games, right? Do you use
Fuck
WASD as your movement key?
You.
What? Do you?
Is this about to lead into him using the arrow keys?
Yeah.
or
Do you use the arrow keys? Are you
I
an
use-
unevolved human?
It's worse.
Stop.
It's
It's worse.
Oh please, I have to know. Is it like IKLJ or something?
ESDF. One set-
ESDF. Do you? Why?
One set over.
Why?
Because I liked my pinky sitting on the A key, which is another key to press along with caps lock and shift. It's more options on the left hand side of my hand.
So your pinky is on the A, right?
Right.
So it's not ESDF. It's
I'm
fucking
trying to
EASDF.
mimic this, and I won't
No. I don't use my pinky for any directional key. Who would do that? Who would do such a thing?
Well, I mean, you're using fucking ESDF, so I'm not
Exactly.
sure. Who the fuck uses that?
Exactly.
What kind of person would use A when you're
It's
like
brilliant.
ESDF? No,
It's
not.
brilliant.
It's the most inconvenient thing. That's like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just learn to use WASD?
It's like when you start up a game, you know how sometimes you want to make like a couple changes to your keyboard configuration? He literally has to spend half an hour making changes to it because he moves everything over
because
once, and then everything else
that's
gets
where, like, all the key
overwritten.
bindings are. Why would you do that? Like
Because
every single
Exactly.
key binding is like E, F, R, G, C, V.
I'm
and you're
the
like, let me just
ultimate
fuck that
hipster.
up.
I'm the ultimate hipster.
No, you're a
I am-
heathen.
Well, the
Even.
ultimate hipster spent like 5,000 games on Fortnite, so
Hey,
True.
Well,
True.
hey, I've had to sacrifice a lot for those games.
He
Yeah.
actually uses his numpad as the mouse.
He doesn't even use a trackpad. He uses one of those track balls.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. You use that little thing in the middle of old keyboards. Use
Oh, that little rubbery thing that I
Yeah,
don't
the
even know
little
why
red
they
thing.
ever put it there, because who used that?
I know.
I know.
Oh,
I feel like just shade is getting chucked at me.
yeah. Well, we
You're
had
having
to.
a rough one.
Yeah. That's
Why'd
what
you
you
have to
get
bring
for
up?
playing Fortnite.
I don't see keybinds anywhere in these topic things here, man.
Oh, that was in one of my 2 notes on my app.
You can kiss my ass.
If you use ESDF, that's illegal. Like, you need to go to prison. You need to
Wait.
serve time.
It's illegal.
Yeah, wait, that's illegal.
Well, moving on from there, favorite game, starting with Cup.
What is my favorite game?
What is your favorite game of all time?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna. Okay.
You get
So
one answer, one go at it.
You
So
can't
make it a
change your
good one.
mind.
I'm not.
You
I'm
gotta
not gonna
engrave
change.
this on your
I'm not gonna
tombstone.
change my mind. But I have a favorite game. But I have a favorite game to play, and then I have a favorite game to talk about. I don't know how to explain it. I won't go into both of them. Don't worry. My favorite game was like the Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations is my favorite game. I love that whole series. I love the Ace Attorney series. But the game I talk the most about is Monkey Ball. I fucking love Super Monkey Ball. And people need to fucking pay attention to that game. Have you seen Super Monkey Ball
Trust me.
speedruns? Those things are fucking insane. They're crazy.
So, my favorite game of all time is Star Wars Knights
Excellent.
of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I treat them as like they're one entity, basically.
Say it again. I couldn't hear you
Star
over
Wars
Cup's
Knights
laughter.
of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are my favorite game because
There's
they're
a
basically
2?
the same thing. Yes,
There
there is
is?
a 2.
I didn't know that.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. And in my opinion, it has a better story.
Okay.
Story. Not it
Yeah.
is- The only thing that sucks about it is, unfortunately, the ending was rushed because they were basically told, if I remember the story correctly, they had like 9 months left, right? So they were going to bang out the rest of the game. And then Lucasfilm or LucasArts was like, all right, can we make this 2 months?
Oops.
Oh.
So they kind of had
That
to.
always works.
You know what
Yeah,
has
so
a
they had to rush
superb
the ending out the
story?
door.
Super Monkey Ball does.
But yeah,
Superb
the
storyline.
1 and 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic. I remember I used to play that game like all the time, like we talked about. I actually got it or bought it on the Humble Bundle like a couple years ago, and I played like 5 hours, and I was like, this is really
It didn't
dated.
Yeah,
It's
did not
very
age well.
dated. Yeah. Super Monkey Ball, on the other hand, that was like the first game that I ever purchased on my
Oh.
iPod Touch.
Oh Christ! Okay.
Oh,
And,
on
like-
iPod, you absolute fool! You have to play that on GameCube. Why would you do that to yourself?
It was the
Why would
most frustrating game I think I've ever
Yeah, because
played.
it's a mobile game. Any mobile game is gonna be frustrating. That's like bashing on Angry Birds and being like the storyline just wasn't good. The gameplay was just
Too
bad.
many
'Cause it's a
birds.
There
mobile
was
Out of
no
10.
plot. The dialogue was so
that would be
scripted.
like- That would be like if I put Halo 4 on mobile. Okay, Halo 4 is a great game, but it's gonna be garbage because it's on mobile. Why would you do that? That's like putting a celebrity on like in the sewers. Why would you do that? Because no matter who it is,
It's
it's
just
gonna
Tom
be bad.
Cruise in a sewer, like it.
Wait, is Halo 4 your favorite Halo game?
Me, yeah.
Opinion
Ew.
gone, dude.
It
What?
is. Oh, here's
Ew.
my explanation.
I'm
Here's
so
my
sorry I brought
explanation
her.
though. It's
Oh my
mostly
God. Ending this now.
Can we mute her real quick? Like, what?
I'm
Thanks
so
for
sorry.
listening, guys.
Brendan, what's your favorite? What's your favorite game? Because we're not going to listen to this opinion Halo 4.
Halo 4, it was I'm a youngin', right? I'm a fucking child. Halo 4 was my first Halo game, and then I played the past games.
And you
I
still
remember-
thought Halo 2 didn't beat it?
I love Halo 4. I remember because it was so fucking. I was horrible. I still am horrible at games, but I just have memories of like sitting down with my brother and just getting my absolute ass kicked by that game because I was horrible. Any game at all, but I have so many good memories from Halo 4. I mean, even the multiplayer, which was, it was its own thing, and it had its weird like name tag system, and it had a weird customization system. All of it I remember. And you know what? Even if Halo 4 had some pretty bad aspects to it, like its hitboxes, it's like bad, so bad it's good, You memorize something's
Nope.
memorable because it's bad,
Nope,
Nope.
I don't
When
know.
we get
No,
back to,
not-
to
Wow,
our server,
wow.
I'll fire her. Don't worry, boys.
Oh
handle
my
this.
God.
We'll do this internal.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
moving on, I would say Halo 2. That was so I was actually alive and of video gaming age when Halo 1 came out. So I know what a good Halo game is.
I was probably
Yeah.
developing in the womb at that point, dude.
I actually don't even know when the first Halo game was made.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But so Halo 2 was a really good continuation of the story from Halo 1 and the first online multiplayer I ever had. And so
2001.
that was like 2001.
Yeah.
Nice. So
Nice.
so like Halo 2 was just like that perfect combination of good story and replayability that I played the hell out of that game. That would
Yeah.
definitely be my number one.
Halo 2 for me.
Yeah, Halo 2 was
Wait, didn't
released.
you just say Knights of the Old Republic?
Oh, I mean of Halos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was saying of all games.
Oh, Halo 4
oh,
is
fair
not
enough.
My
It's not-
least favorite Halo would be Halo 4.
Yeah,
Wow, wow, I
I
love
think
it.
Halo 4 goes in the
I
worst
love the
Halo
You
nostalgia.
category.
could just put that in the trash can.
Halo 2
Yeah, I
was
wasn't a
made
fan.
a year after I was fucking born, so unless I was a gamer out the fucking womb, I don't think I would have had that.
He comes out of her mom's womb with
Dude,
like
I
the,
slip and slide it out
bongos.
straight to the PC.
like the Nintendo bongos. She comes out in the fucking monkey ball.
Super Monkey Ball is such a good game, except for the one Wii game. That one is
I
so
shouldn't have brought
bad,
it back
and
up.
I
I'm
hate it.
sorry.
Super Monkey Ball.
I'm never gonna
It has
want to do
storyline,
this again.
has
It's like, as long
gameplay.
as Cup isn't invited.
Have you seen speed runs of that game? They're insane. That is
I'm
big
okay.
brain man things.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
So I'm gonna keep it going here. My favorite game of all time is
Good idea.
Modern Warfare 2.
I thought it was Pokemon.
See that I originally said that, but I'm going back to MW2 because of how many hours I put into that game. It's hands down the most hours I've ever put in a game, even with Fortnite still there.
So that's like a really good transition into, did you hear that the next Call of Duty game is almost certainly Modern Warfare 4?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, why is it almost
Trash.
certainly? Like, is there like a statement of people?
I saw a tweet on Twitter that
Makes it
was
official.
like,
No way.
no, let me quote it here. The tweet was like, if the next Call of Duty is Modern Warfare 4, I'm going to shit my pants. Right? And one of the developers tweeted back and he said, you better buy some brown pants.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit! That's actually a pretty good one. I love the age of the internet that we're in. That honestly is as good as it being confirmed.
So they haven't teased it yet. I think they're going to do that in May.
Because there was rumors about that last year, so it probably.
Yeah, a bunch of athletes have gotten to play it this last week, and so it's there's been a lot of hints. It is almost certainly Modern Warfare 4.
Oh yeah, because one has to come out in November. I forgot about that.
Yeah, otherwise, the series breaks down and Call of Duty explodes and
Yep.
everyone's
Is it-
all the
Actually
games
breaks.
catch on fire spontaneously.
Is it going to be developed by Infinity Ward? I thought they disbanded it after.
Unclear.
Unclear?
I don't follow Call of Duty history anymore.
Okay.
Don't care
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm at a touch
Alright.
of Call of Duty and the inner workings now. I kind of just follow from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I don't know. Zach, would you be interested in Modern Warfare 4 if that's the next game?
If it came with a battle royale that you could build in, then yeah.
Ouch.
Oh, really?
Super
A battle
Monkey
royale
Ball.
game? Really?
I mean, the only battle royale game I've liked Fortnite. I've tried Apex. I hated it. I'm not a big fan of battle royales in general. Just I really like Fortnite.
Which is a battle royale.
Wait, yeah,
Which
so here's
is-
what I don't understand. So you want a battle royale feature for Modern Warfare 4, but you're
It was
saying
sarcasm.
the only one you like is Fortnite.
She doesn't understand sarcasm. She's just
No, I'm fucking small brain.
Yeah,
Why
we
do
say
you think I
things
like
slow
Monkey
for her.
Ball? If I had a brain, I wouldn't like Monkey Ball.
At
Yeah, when
least-
she
at
edits
least
for
you
us,
admitted
her
it.
first revision is me being like, "Okay, dummy, here's it back. Now fix it." This is the actual first.
This time, actually edit it. Cut out the
She
silence.
just sends me back the same video.
Useless. Well, what can you expect with a name like a flamboyant cup?
Yeah, man. Were you expecting a professional? 'Cause
I don't know
that's-
what I was expecting.
That's what my name screams.
Next time, I'll
Yeah.
bring the redneck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that Miscro? God, I totally butchered
Moscow,
that.
yeah.
Screw.
Moscow? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was doing it out of memory.
He's
Moscow.
basically Larry the Cable Guy.
Love it. Lives
Yep.
in Alabama or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sneaking around your Discord channel. I saw.
Oh,
that wasn't just a good guess.
Oh, I wish it was. That was good.
So this is a bad transition, but I'm curious. What is your guys' least favorite games? Because we've talked about the favorites, but
Fortnite.
Saw that one coming. Wow. Why don't you just give him a better tea next time?
oh man.
Come back to me. Zach. You
Okay,
go.
okay.
My least favorite game,
Yeah.
Halo 4. Really disappointing all around.
Honestly, I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but I don't really, just because of the games I don't really like the Halo series all that much, but I do love Halo 4, and it's purely for the nostalgia factor.
So you don't think it's actually a good game?
No, we weren't going to respond to it. We were just going to stay silent.
Okay.
I didn't prepare for this question.
Oh, I didn't prepare for this
Okay.
question either. Was that
You
something
put
I
it,
had
that,
in the
it's
notes?
in your message.
Oh my god,
It's
what
in
an
your
idiot.
message.
What an idiot.
FIFA 18 will go down as the worst game I've ever played.
I've heard pretty bad things about the FIFA series.
I'm the classic rage gamer. I'm what everyone hates. But FIFA 18 was identical to FIFA 17, and all the mechanics that were broken in 17 were still broken in 18, and it just it ruined FIFA for me, and I've stopped playing. That's why it's the worst game I've ever played.
Man, that's unfortunate.
It is.
That always sucks when you there's a good game, but then they try to keep making money off of it, so it just gets worse and
Every
worse.
sports game ever at this point.
Yeah,
honestly.
Oh yeah.
The microtransactions just killed it because you'd have to spend $500, $1,000 for not even a guarantee. You just had to pump money into it.
Same thing with MLB The Show. Same shit happened. Sad world.
Brendan, time's up. What's your
Yeah,
worst
I
game?
know. I'm looking at my library and I'm like, shit, I don't.
Just make it easy. 2 Worlds 2.
I would have to say Lawbreakers.
Oh my god.
And that's not because I didn't like the game. It's because I was so disappointed that I spent $30 on a game I could only play it for 2 weeks. That is the biggest letdown out of any game I think I've ever purchased. And I've bought some really stupid games on Steam that I've literally never installed or played, and I still like them better than my experience with Lawbreakers. That hurt so good.
I was really excited for it, and the beta was so fun.
And it was genuinely a good game. It just it fell by the wayside of all the battle royale games and everything else that was going on at the time.
It came out at the hype of Overwatch, and as battle royales were beginning, it didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, and especially because it wasn't really all that different from Overwatch. It was kind of like a mix between Overwatch and Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, with not modern, with more realistic looking graphics. Basically.
Yeah, and it had Morty from Rick and Morty, which is huge selling point for me, honestly.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, Rick. And then,
dude, you just had a stroke. I don't know what happened. Are you okay?
That being said, yeah, I'd say Lawbreakers was the most disappointing game for me.
Man, I wonder how many Rick and Morty cameos there were in games when it really hit its popularity peak.
Oh man, I've been meaning to play that new game by Justin Roiland. I forget what it's called. But it's a Rick and Morty VR game.
Oh,
I think.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because the VR of it, you can see the controller, and it's like a self-aware video game.
It's like Trevor something.
Oh, I watched a
looks really
playthrough
cool.
of that. It was actually pretty interesting, and I'm not
Wow,
even.
so you just ruined the whole game for yourself?
I'm
Never
not.
gonna
I'm not gonna play any Rick and Morty game. Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay,
no.
all right.
Yeah, I won't bring her back.
Her parents
don't worry.
still won't let her watch that show, so
Yeah, they didn't sign the permission slip, so guess I can't, guys.
I still don't think I'm old enough to watch South Park sometimes.
I know. I don't think anyone's ever old enough to watch South Park.
Oh, remember when they released a game, the Stick of Truth or something?
Stick of Truth was so good. The
It's pretty
gameplay
funny.
sucked, but the game was so great.
I never played any of them because typically video games that come after a TV show or a movie are absolute garbage. Typically.
Stick of Truth was really good. The gameplay is kind of but the game itself is great.
I didn't really judge it off of the gameplay because I don't really like turn-based RPGs in the first place.
But it was
But
they changed the gameplay completely for the next one. It basically, the gameplay just fits the story that game is telling, because it's basically just a long South Park movie.
yeah. Wait, did they release a second game?
Yeah.
So
the fractured butthole.
Oh
Yep.
my. Yeah, I never.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of
Fractured
I'm not
buttholes.
a big. I can't say I am. I'm not a big fan of South Park in the first place, so that's why I was kind of iffy on playing the first one. But my friend thought it was fucking hilarious, and so I was like, well, gotta trust the homies, you know. And it was pretty funny, but again, turn-based RPGs, man.
But again, Super Monkey Ball.
Super Monkey Ball. Nothing's gonna beat the
The
game.
amount of
Super Monkey
excitement
Ball.
she gets when that word is mentioned is just nuts.
Okay, first of all,
Now we know.
first of all-
Yeah.
It happens all the
Trigger
time.
word.
This isn't even just for the podcast either. It's literally just her as a person.
Super Monkey Ball is so cool. How could he not? This gameplay
Moving
is
on,
insane.
what are your
It was-
guys' least favorite games? If you didn't already answer that, which I don't think you did.
Whenever I don't really know, because if I don't like a game, I'll just stop playing it. So I don't really think I have any games I really hated.
I said hers is probably League. It's probably her least
And
favorite.
so yeah, it's League. League's my least favorite game.
Why do you play it?
Man.
It's like an addiction.
Yeah, dude, it's once you're on it, you can't get off.
And you're probably what, silver?
Dude, I don't like. I even go into competitive. Like I could get silver. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna do that.
You just play casual games?
Yeah, I just play casual games. I'm too afraid to go
Why?
into competitive.
Or Derek in
I'm
our
too
podcast
nervous.
carries her through more advanced games.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a life you lead.
I know. It's truly a luxurious one.
God. All right, Anthony. What about you?
Two Worlds 2. Hate it. Fuck it. It can
Are
die.
you sure? You sure that doesn't go into your favorite category?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like my most hated, but my least favorite game that I've actually played is probably Smite.
Oh yeah, the rip-off of every MOBA ever in like third-person weirdness.
Kinda, yeah. It ripped off a lot from League. It did do a lot. There is a lot in the game that's good. The reason it's my least favorite is the developers of the game just literally don't know what they don't play their own fucking game. That's all there is to it.
It's like writing an essay and then not reading it, you know?
Yeah, they like this because okay, there's multiple game modes, right? And the easiest way to summarize it is the lead designer of the game does not play the game mode that they balance the game for. He plays a different game mode that he likes.
Well, then no shit, it's gonna be
So
bad.
that,
What
like
the
there's
fuck?
Conquest, Arena, Joust, Clash, Siege, and Assault. He plays Joust. The game is balanced for Conquest.
I mean, that's literally like driving a car, designing a car for the track, and then driving it off road, or vice versa.
Yeah, exactly.
Design a race car and then use it to get to work. Just do
And
that.
sometimes
Yeah.
there's like these moments of greatness, and, like amazing characters, and then sometimes they just release shit. It's just so inconsistent, and the balance is always fucked, and they don't care about it. So I hate it.
Oh, when
that's terrible.
developers don't care about the game, that's so obnoxious. That's the ultimate tilt, because it's like the community could have so many issues. Like there's so many things that could be easily fixed, but the developers are like working on bigger projects, so they're like, oh, no one gives a shit. We're not gonna work on that. We're gonna work on these new things.
You know what game I heard the developers don't give a shit about?
Fortnite.
Super Monkey Ball.
Okay. Where do I even begin?
All right,
Super
and
Monkey,
it's
that's
time to
so much-
wrap up.
Yeah, it's time to
Good
end.
call. Good call.
Yeah, Zach's got to go.
It is
Thank
way
you guys
past
so
my
much for being
bedtime.
on. Yeah. Thank you guys for being on. This is a blast.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I'm sorry Cup ruined everything.
It's what I do best. I'm a man of many talents.
You want to go ahead and plug your podcast?
Yeah, so we have two podcasts and a YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is the 8th Bit Network, and we have the 8th Bit Podcast and the 16th Bit. And you can find them anywhere you can find a podcast, and the 8th Bit Network is just on YouTube.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you guys for being on.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you for
guys.
having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it was a blast. See you guys later.